It's a tier list today. We're doing a tier list, and today we are going to be joined by Myth of Charon.
Hello.
Hello. He's the devil on my shoulder, and since he is much more fond of pulling for characters than I am, he has a lot more characters than I do, so I'm going to be referring to him for a lot of the 5 stars, and we are going to
Some more
deliberate.
characters.
Huh?
Some more. I have some
Some
more, not a
some
lot
more.
more.
You have enough 5 stars to like squash me.
Fair.
You're only missing a few 5 stars, right? Like Luocha,
I'm missing
Topaz.
a fair amount. Uh, Hold on. I'm missing Imbibitor, Gepard,
Okay.
Topaz now because she's out. Fushuan.
Okay. Yeah.
That might
So
be it.
I have Kapart, so don't worry. I can pull.
Jingyuan and Luocha. I have a fair amount.
Yeah. You have more than I do. That is definitely for sure.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for the sake of the tier list, we're going to assume that everyone's at E0. Maybe if like it's a 4 star and their E is really really good, we might talk about it. But for the sake of 5 stars, we're gonna assume that all of them are at E0, just for the simplicity's sake. And then
Yeah.
we're just gonna go from there. So starting, we have Arlen. I have
I
him,
have them.
but
Mhm.
he's
That's about
supposedly
it.
the worst character in the game.
I disagree with that, but he is definitely not good.
So you see,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
Probably,
Asta
honestly, probably should have an F tier for just like,
probably should have an F tier. Well, we're gonna.
yeah,
I
for
missed.
like useless. Uh-oh.
That'll be a
Yeah.
bit the video, that's for sure. Okay, okay. So Asta,
S tier,
S tier.
hands down.
Do you use
Her
Asta?
ult, I use Asta constantly. She's on my Kafka team. She
Right.
is Her ult is insane because it's just a mass amount of speed for everybody,
Yeah.
and her passive ability, her talent, that just buffs everyone's attack,
Hmm.
is also just nuts. If you're against a large group of people, she just consistently gives everyone else like 1k extra attack at least.
Yeah, and I think it is good to know that she is very low investment to do really really well. Like I
Yeah,
think that my
yeah.
Asta, I have one of her talents crowned, which is obviously her ultimate, and then I have artifacts on her that I got in like the first week of playing the game, and she's still doing fantastic.
Well, yeah, because she's not super like desperate for any particular artifact. She's not like vying for crit damage or anything. She needs a little bit of speed and then like HP so that she doesn't get hurt, and
Hmm.
then everything else is just bonus on her.
Yeah, and then I think lastly, as a you were talking about how she's able to give the attack buff. If she can't give the attack buff, at least she's going to do a lot of break damage to one individual character if they're weak to fire. That is
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much break.
exactly.
It's insane.
She does have some insane break.
So Bailu, I don't have Bailu, so I'm gonna defer to you.
I'd probably say A, maybe B tier, probably A tier.
Okay.
Probably makes sense. She's a strong healer. My big issue with her is that she doesn't remove debuffs. Like that's my number one contention with her. She can heal very well. She can do a lot of it. Her talent that like revives a down character is great against like when you just have bad RNG and one of your teammates is focused down and killed. She can sort of compensate for that. But the fact that she doesn't remove debuffs in any way just like makes her far less useful than the other three healers, however many there are now.
Yeah. And I don't have her, so I don't know much about her. Doesn't she have an AoE healing? Is that her E?
Her ult is AoE,
Her ult is
which
okay.
which and it's a decent amount of healing. Her normal attack basically is kind of like a you choose one person, they get a small heal, and then it randomly heals two more characters. Could be the same character, could be different characters.
Okay.
It's it's sometimes good because like sometimes you hit three characters and they all get heals, and sometimes it just bounces on one person who's fully healed. So like, but her like she gives everyone buffs that allow them to repeatedly heal over and over, which is really good for someone like
Oh yeah.
Blade or Jigglypuff. Any destruction she's pretty decent on because she does constant healing rather than like one big chunk of it. Blade himself.
Blade? Blade?
Yeah, probably A tier makes sense for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't have him as built up as I would like because I moved very quickly on to other characters I needed to build up. Like,
Right.
yeah, he definitely hits. He hits hard and he does good damage.
I don't personally have Blade, so I use yours, and he hits like a truck. He hits so hard. So I think he's really, really good. And obviously, I don't know how much investment he needs to have. I do know that he wants to have his light cone more than maybe some other 5 stars.
Yeah, just because he's so dependent on HP, where other destruction characters are a little bit less dependent on large HP. All of his damage comes from having a big HP stack, so his light cone leans more into HP than any of the other destructions, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. And do you use Blade for like some of the bigger bosses, like the weekly bosses?
I use him for the latest one, the what's
Fantilea,
her
I
name?
think.
Yeah, that one,
Yeah.
because she has a lot of wind weakness, and he's really good AoE taking out those flowers along with hurting her. But he's kind of dangerous to use with some of the big boss characters because he himself stays at a very low health.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, if you can't like properly manage your healing with him, uh, the bosses can quickly kill him out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think Blade is one of those characters that you want to have speed micromanaging done really, really well to ensure that you have
Yeah.
the ability to heal when he needs it, or at least have
He's
his ult.
strong. Yeah. Yeah. He's strong, but he's also high maintenance. If you like going like auto battling, he's probably lower on that scale just because you want to like manually care about the healing.
And then Bronya, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I
I
mean,
just got her.
yeah, we both have Bronya. Mine's level 20, but like
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything bad from her.
they
And
do
just
like to use Bronya in the character trials for like new 5 stars and stuff.
I
So
don't think there's much to say. She just
she's
does
just a
good.
really solid, and she's a pity 5 star, which means you'll most likely get her eventually if you haven't already done the selective summon. So Clara, this is gonna be interesting. I think at the beginning she was like really, really good, but as more,
Yeah,
especially more destruction characters that come out, she's fallen down, especially with
I
her
almost
being
would
physical.
want to put her B tier.
B tier.
Yeah, which hurts me because I like Clara as a character.
Everyone likes Clara. She's great.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Blade and Bailu are just better. I think B tier fits her fairly well.
Hmm. I think she
I haven't.
has
Yeah.
like a very unique playstyle because she's a reactionary playstyle. So maybe as
Yeah,
more characters come out that will complement that kind of playstyle, it would
yeah, I
do better.
agree. Because right now I don't have her super well built because she was only like early game built for me, and
Hmm.
I kind of assume the same for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like obviously she's not super optimal with my build right now, but I can still tell that when I fight, like proactively doing damage, it like she doesn't. So you really have to sort of hope for the RNG that the enemy will take her out. With
yeah,
the addition of Lynx though, like a March 7th and Lynx something combo on her might be enough to really pull that aggro, but I still think it's not quite enough to put her up to A tier yet.
yeah. I do think that she suffers from being a physical because it's like a lot
Hmm.
of the enemies on her to space station are physical, but then after that, it's kind of like
Yeah.
not really.
Maybe when we get to next planet, it'll be more physical again, and she'll matter more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
The other big issue I think with her is she's actually fairly Eidolon dependent. Uh,
That is
her
true. A lot of
Eidolon,
her best in
yeah,
slots are 5 stars.
yeah. A lot of 5-star characters aren't dependent on their Eidolons as badly as she is. Like, obviously, it's great to get them, but
Hmm.
for her, a lot of her abilities really start to shine once you get her up to E1, E3, E6, even.
Yeah, and that just comes with time.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of money.
and that or a lot of money, absolutely. Okay, so then we got one of the free 4 stars, which Asta was one of them, but now we're going on to Don Hung. What are we thinking?
I don't use him, and I don't think I even like started off using him because I'm pretty sure I swapped him out with whoever I had
Yeah,
immediately.
I
But I
think
don't think he's bad.
I think I ended up using him longer than you did. But
Probably.
even then, I didn't use him that long. I think I swapped him out because that was back when, the game first came out and we only had Herd of Spaceships, that and Jarillo 6. And there weren't
Yeah.
that many wind weaknesses. So
Yeah.
he just
Yeah.
kind of like fell to the wayside. And now that there are some more wind weaknesses on the Lafo, I have like Kafka to deal with that. So he's not.
It doesn't matter. He's very simple, right? He's pick one dude, hit him very hard.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't have tricks necessarily the way that like Topaz, who's our newest hunt, obviously has a bunch of trick and follow up attack and stuff that makes her interesting. I
Hmm.
think Don Hung's probably the definition of C tier.
Yeah,
right?
he's a tutorial character. He's a free 4-star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Good part.
uh, uh,
The man that haunts my dreams all the time.
it's one of the few I have to defer to you, of course, because I don't have
Yeah, this is the
Gapar.
one time that he has to defer to me, so I want to make him wait. He can actually, if you build him correctly, which doesn't take as much as people think it does, he
Well, he
can
uses
provide.
defense, right?
He uses what?
Defense, right, on his
Yeah, it's so
artifacts.
you can dual farm for Clara and him. So I just kind of had a byproduct of that after I got Clara. But even then,
Yeah,
that set is like you want defense, which is one of the most common substats anyway.
and
But
like he's not fighting other characters for the same substats.
yeah, they all go to him. It's basically Geo
Yeah.
from Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
But
So
he does provide some pretty good shielding, especially when you're going up against characters like Fantilia, who will prevent you from healing to your max HP. Shielding doesn't care; it'll give you the full amount of shield regardless. But
so
like,
are you putting him D tier because he's bad or just because you don't like him?
just because I don't like him, I got his like count. No, I think it like if you do not have a healer, which everyone would have Natasha, but if you don't want to use Natasha, he could be B. But like, just build a healer. Just do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think he's B, especially since I have his light cone. He's a little bit better than like if you just lost pity and you just randomly got him.
Yeah. He's probably usable, but a little bit cope.
Yeah, he's usable everywhere if you're cope, but he's decent and he excels at very niche spots.
Yeah, okay.
Like I would build him
That's probably a B
just for
tier.
Fantilia.
I think that's probably a fair spot then.
Yeah. So then Herta is
This is the one I would argue is the worst character.
really
Yeah, she is the only character I don't have leveled up past 60.
that's
Like, I
surprising.
just can't bother.
Yeah, I know she's bad, but I would feel like because Arlen loses HP every time he does something, and I don't think he gets anything out of it. He just does it. But Herta
It's
at least gets the
probably a
follow up.
close. It's probably a close race between the
Yeah,
two.
it's a close race, but interesting. I know she's bad though, so I'm perfectly fine with
Yeah.
D tier.
You know what? I'll argue that she probably is better than Arlong just because you can get Eidolons for her for free.
Yeah, because of the
Like that's
simulated universe.
probably
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's probably the only reason I would say like she could be slightly better than
So then the 5-star version of Asset no, or Herta. Ooh, I don't have
Himiko.
her, so I'm gonna defer.
Yeah. She's fine. But she feels like very meh because her whole thing is she gets follow-up attacks when she weakness breaks, which is
Right.
cool. Except if you don't have like the little minions that have really easy to break weakness breaks, she
Yep.
just her follow-up attacks never happen. And her ult is a really good AoE, except if there's only one character, it just feels bad, which I guess is a pretty erudite thing. Is that AOE sometimes feels bad because there's only one enemy,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it's particularly bad for her because she just doesn't have like any good single target damage.
Yeah, like unironically, I would rather use Asta as a main like fire
No,
DPS.
I'd rather use Himiko as a main fire DPS because she definitely puts out more damage than Asta. But yeah, I can see where you're going with that. She's probably B tier though still. Like she still
Probably be.
does a good job, especially if you are going up against people with a lot of fire weakness.
Oh yeah, like I'm pretty sure she excels on anything to do with Jarilla 6.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
then after that, it's kind of like
Yeah,
okay.
she's very much. If you're going up against fire, she's good. If you're going up against anything else, don't bother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I've had to fight a lot of enemies before I got Kafka that I just didn't have the ability to
Mhm.
break them, and it sucks so much.
Yeah. Well, that's why you just use Silverwolf.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll get into that when we get to her. I swear. So
Biggest regret of your
I yep. Mm-hmm.
yep.
Hook, the
C
elite
tier.
player, C tier.
Yeah. She's not as good as Himiko, and
She's not. That is
put
true.
her at C tier.
Yeah,
She's super fun.
she is
I
great
love her ult.
character.
Her ult animation is one of my favorites,
Very good ult.
and I love her character. But yeah, she just doesn't do a lot. It's too much work to apply burn and then use your empowered attack, and then like use your destruction ult. Like it's just a little bit too much.
Yeah, it really is. And then so we got one of the better 5 stars,
Jing
Jin
Yuan.
Yuan.
I don't think either of us have him.
I don't. However, I used to
Yeah.
rent him out a lot for Fantilia before Arbiter came out, and then also I do a lot of stuff in Jirilo, which has a lot of the robots. So I would rent him
Yeah.
out for like those catalysts as well. So I would put him like
A tier.
A tier.
Probably makes sense. I know he's good. I just don't know specifically how good.
Yeah, like he himself can do a lot of damage, and he has AOE, which is really good for breaking enemies. And then that stacks with Lightning Lord as its own independent thing that the enemies can't really stop from going. Like,
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah,
I
and
think
that
he's really good.
yeah. I think that's a good comparison with Himiko as well, is the fact that like he has sort of like within the attacks targeted damage, right? Because he
Hmm.
does one of those like hits someone in the middle for a lot more and hits people on the side for a lot less kind of a
Yeah,
thing. Which Himiko doesn't have any of that,
which I
right?
feel like she
So
should.
well, she was like first
Yeah,
erudite character, right? Kind of testing the waters. So,
that
I
makes
think I
sense.
think A makes sense though for Jingguan.
Yeah.
Obviously, yep. I'm
All
good
right,
with it.
Luocha. No, joking. Duh. Comments about
I mean,
Kafka.
do we need to say more? It's Kafka,
I mean,
right?
yeah, really.
I mean, honestly, look at either of our files.
Right, we've both mentioned our Kafka teams already. She's
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely amazing. She was my first 5 star, not counting Gepard because he's not a main DPS role character. I don't
She
know.
was definitely not my first 5 star because I have pulled quite a few times,
Uh huh.
but she was the one I was very much anticipating and very happy to get.
She was the one that I was like, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. I don't care how long it takes, and I did
Yeah,
it. And I got her light cone, and I think her light cone helps her a lot. But she's already
yeah,
really good, so it's not like it necessary. You don't have to have the light cone.
yeah. That is the one thing I don't have like any light cones for any of these people, so that's always something to keep in mind.
I think that I
But
I
even
think
without it, she's still good.
Luocha.
I think S tier. I don't have him. I don't think you have him,
I do not.
but I just know for a fact that he is S tier
I
because
think he's
I've
the
used him
best
before.
healer in the game currently.
By far, by
Yeah.
far.
Okay.
I don't remember if he has debuff removal or not. Like it just doesn't matter with the amount of healing he
Yeah, I
can
don't
do.
think he has debuff removal, but he's imaginary, which helps a lot because it reduces the speed of
Yeah,
other units, and he has AoE attack to reduce the speed of every unit. So like,
yeah, yeah. His ult is like an actual like does damage.
yeah, and
That's
it
the other
breaks
thing.
pretty well.
All yeah, all the other healers are like their ult heals. His does damage. So
Mhm.
like that's a pretty big deviation from the others
Yeah,
as well.
very good. He's like the one multi-class.
No, I was just saying even without having him, it's very clear
Yeah,
that he's up there.
like him and Silverwolf are like the 2 units. I was like, maybe I could have wished on those two. Would have been
Yeah.
nice. Moving on to everyone's pink-haired person. I know she's right,
Poster
this,
girl.
right down there. But yeah, poster girl.
Uh Probably C or D tier.
See, yeah, I think she'd go C. I feel like March is one of those characters that put in the right team, she can go up. Put in the wrong team, she can go down.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not super impressed with any of the preservation. Okay, never mind, because Fushuan now. But uh, preservation was very finicky for me at the beginning. I
Yeah,
was just like, why would I shield if I could just heal? It just
right. I
it,
think if you are first starting to the game and you get March, that I mean you're gonna get March. But if you get Clara, then March becomes a lot better
yeah,
because
Clara
of the
March
proc.
combination is good, but like outside of that, March to me was kind of useless because there aren't many characters I want her to make the focus of enemy attacks. That's like
Yeah.
the big issue with her shield is that it taunts enemies to attack that person.
Mm-hmm.
So like
True.
outside of Blade and Clara, I don't know who I would want that to happen to.
I don't think there's anybody. I don't think that. I don't think. Well, maybe Jianglu because she likes losing HP, but I
I
don't know.
guess, but not to the degree that like Clara wants to be hit and
Yeah.
Blade wants to be hit.
So I think this is a good spot. What
Yeah,
about the free 4 star healer? I think
probably
I think
A.
A. Yeah, I think A.
Yeah, I mean I don't use her anymore because I have Lynx and Bailu, and that's kind of good enough for the two teams I have. But she never disappointed when I had her when I used her.
Yeah, I remember when I would do some of the harder things with obviously free to play characters. I was like, if I can just make it this round to Natasha's healing, I'm good. Like I will
Yeah,
win this fight. I'm fine. definitely outputs the healing, especially since you get a free full set of healing percent bonus.
Yeah, yeah, and just throw those on her. And then talking about Eidolon, while obviously you don't get any Eidolons of her for free, so like you have to get to it. One of her Eidolons does make it so her skill removes debuffs. Again, something I'm very, very love the removing of debuffs on
Yeah.
my healing characters. So you have to work for it to get her to that point, but once you do, it's a game changer. The fact that she can remove debuffs on her skill rather than her ult is very nice.
Yep. I think they've done all the healers really, really well. Pella. I don't have Pella. I don't rent her out because I don't know why I would, but so I'm gonna defer to you.
I use her. I'm right now building her because I just got Jingliu and she's really good with Jingliu. She's probably A tier for me, with potential to move up. She's probably on the higher tier of A tier. My issue with her right now is kind of my issue with a lot of the supports. She's just kind of squishy, uh,
Yeah.
which sort of makes it like if she gets targeted one too many times, she dies, and then that's a wash for that run, which kind of sucks. She does really well with the right artifact on her and everything. She does a lot of resistance and defense reduction. She's kind of skill hungry, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's also kind of whatever. I'm
Interesting.
still working. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I've
still using her and learning, so who knows?
yeah. I've absolutely no idea. I can't weigh in on this one at all.
I
Going on to
Yep,
one
that's about it. Yep.
that I know a lot
Jinx.
about.
I know a lot about it as well.
Right. My whole journey is all your fault. So, but I
I
think
think
between A and B,
realistically, yeah, somewhere there, probably B over A.
yeah.
RNG
You
hurts
you
when it hurts.
you get her for you get one copy for free, so you will eventually get her.
She's
And
she was strong early game.
she was very strong early game, and her being quantum
Yeah.
helps a lot because a lot of people on Jarilla are weak to quantum, which made breaking really easy, even though quantum isn't a very good break effect. So
And we did put Chincha. Yeah.
you mentioned her being RNG heavy. I think again it's one of those things where it's like you have to get her Eidolons, but if you happen to get her Eidolons, she gets a damage bonus for every time she doesn't get full house or jackpot, whatever it's called, which
Yeah,
really
but
adds up.
it's still kind of a cope Eidolon
Oh
than
yeah,
like
no,
a
you definitely want a
benefit
different
thing.
character rather than six versions of her.
Mm.
But like if you don't have anyone else, it helps a lot. Not enough to
Yeah.
put her to A tier, but it's
No.
something to note. So
All right.
Sampo, who is from Eurilla
Uh,
6.
Probably B tier or C tier. Actually, might be more
C tier?
accurate. It's hard to tell. Whenever I use him, he either like does nothing or does a good job.
I
I don't know how to describe him.
I've
I don't
only
use him
used
enough
him
though.
in Kafka team, and he's about to
Mm.
be phased out by Luca. So like even then,
Yeah.
I mean like he does
I-
okay breakability as long as it's the one person and they're weak to wind. But like
Yeah.
other than that, his DOT's like pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like whatever on him. Same reason as you, where like I have Luca already, so why would I use Sampo on that team? And
Yeah.
unless like I really need that wind weakness specifically, but in that case, I just like switch to my blade team or something. So like he just kind of
Yeah.
becomes irrelevant for me. All right, Sela,
Sela, the first 5 star.
and the first rerun.
That is very true. Do you have Sela? Do you? I don't
No,
think you do. You do?
no, I do not.
Oh,
I
you do
pulled
not.
for her, but I lost the 50-50,
That's
which
right.
is how I got Clara. So like
Even
kind
better.
of a win,
Yeah, I remember
right?
you were like super happy about that because Clara was
Yeah.
really good. But I rent her out fairly often, and I think she's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I
she's S
whenever
tier.
yeah. Whenever I've used her, whenever I've rented her out or whatever, I always kind of disappointed. I feel like she's overhyped,
I don't
right?
know. Like because we're renting it out,
Yeah.
it's whoever decides to invest into her. So the one that I rent out is like max talents, all 15 plus golden artifacts. I don't know if the artifacts are necessarily good for her because I don't have her. Her E can knock out anything in one hit besides obviously like the bigger enemies or bosses, which
Yeah.
allows her to go a second time, which then can then
I
lead into her ult.
yeah. I do know her like single target damage is beyond like through the roof. Like
It is.
it's a lot, and that definitely makes her valuable. A lot of times, I'm not trying to do single target damage. Like I tend to prefer my destruction or erudite characters more
Yeah,
often than not.
being
I
able to
I
hit
think she's
more.
good. Obviously, I mean, we're putting her in A tier right now. Like, obviously, she's strong and we like her. I just think she tends to get a little bit more overhyped than probably deserved.
Maybe from being the first character or something. But yeah, she's
Yeah, who knows? We neither of us have her, so maybe if
yeah,
we had her and built her, we'd put her in S tier. This is
potentially
probably one of the more contentious ones, I would assume. Serval,
the free 4-star electric unit.
honestly, probably C or D.
C tier.
Probably C. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know what her home is. I don't know what like team she would want. She's not strong enough to be the main DPS herself. And as a sub DPS, she's fine, but then I don't know who like would want her as the sub DPS.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really know. I didn't really use her. All right, so Sushi now. Silver
She
Ball.
didn't even do that. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. For
Probably
the
like that.
background, yeah. A background for everyone uh who's listening is I constantly mock this guy here
Me, he
for
mocks
not
me. Yeah,
yeah, for not having Silverwolf and me having Silverwolf.
yeah,
Because every time he complains about, oh, I can't do this or this weakness is a problem, and I go, well, just pull out your Silverwolf.
yeah. Just use the Just apply the weakness forehead. I can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. But as a person who has Silverwolf, oh my god, is she great. She is
Do you think
so
she's better than
wonderful to use.
Kafka?
She has like more utility than Kafka. She's more versatile than Kafka. You can put her on more teams. She's more helpful to other people.
Yeah,
It's sort of an apples to oranges comparison because Kafka's doing a thing where she's strong for her team. Silverwolf's doing a thing where she's good for like every team.
I don't know.
Potentially, you could say she's stronger than Kafka. Yeah, I'd probably say Silverwolf is better than Kafka.
So,
She just has so many debuffs that she can do. She applies weakness on enemies, which is like a very unique skill that is very, very helpful.
she's
Yeah.
definitely the one that I have next on my radar that I'm like gonna get
Yeah.
Silverwolf. Gonna do it.
And yeah. And she's like the only one that enables you to have quote unquote mono elemental teams,
Yeah,
right?
Mono Quantum.
Yeah, mono quantum, but like you can put Clara, Sushang, and like Natasha on a team, and that's useless until you put Silverwolf on there as well, and then like
Yeah,
that's a good team. And then with the Lynx being released as well, like she's a quantum healer, Silverwolf and Lynx go together like peas in a pod for you to kind of jam in any other two pair of elemental, and it's just a good team because Silverwolf is on there.
yeah. She definitely takes like the viable teams and multiplies that by 4. So,
Yeah, she's what enables mid-tier teams to become high-tier teams.
speaking of Sushang, the 4-star
Yeah,
physical DPS that I don't think either of us use, but both of us have.
she's technically used on my third team that I don't use.
Mm.
Being the team that I just described, Sushang, Clara,
Yeah,
Natasha, Silverwolf. She's good.
yeah. I don't think
I'm
she's
never disappointed with her.
bad.
It's
Like,
probably B tier technically because I don't think she's as strong as Zila or
yeah,
Blade
no,
or
she's not gonna do the
any of
damage.
those guys. But she's probably the strongest B tier on
Yeah,
there.
I think her I know her ultimate is AOE, but I think her E is as well. No, it's not.
No,
No,
nothing
it's
is
not.
AoE. She's Hunt. Everything's
Oh
single
yeah.
target
Oh,
damage.
because like okay, I was
Yeah.
confused because the giant
Yeah.
chicken looks like it would hit more than one unit, but it doesn't.
Right. Hook's big explosion is a single target damage.
That's so weird. That's
Yeah, I
so
don't. Yeah.
strange.
She or Clara is probably the strongest B tier.
So then, what about a support unit? What about Miss Tingyun?
I don't use her a lot because I actually don't really like her playstyle.
You don't?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about it is just like off to me. I think it's one of those like her skill is hidden in the fact that it's a buff, so you don't really see her direct benefit to others the
Yeah.
way you see from like Asta's or something. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of her, but I know she's strong. She's probably A tier, unless you
See,
disagree in any way.
I used her since the beginning of the game because obviously you get free 10 pulls on
Yeah.
standard, and I got her, and my team until I got Kafka was Chinqua, Tingyun, Natasha, and Asta. Tingyun just enabled so much DPS, especially because her ult gives you more charge towards the ultimate. You were able to
Yeah.
get full house faster, which is an
Yeah,
AoE
but
to everybody.
nothing felt worse than using her ultimate and not quite refreshing the ultimate on someone else, though.
Yeah, which it kind of sucks, but I think like she's really really good support unit. Although I don't use her anymore because Kafka doesn't really
Need her.
want Tingyun.
Yeah.
But so I
Well,
would
when
go
you
like
build your second team, do you think you would put her on your second team?
I don't know if Jingliu would want Tingyun or not. Maybe, but I
I don't.
don't think so.
I don't think Ting Yun and Jing Liu. Actually, I don't know because Jing Liu would probably like the
The attack
refresh
bonus.
on her ultimate. Well, the attack
Yeah.
bonus, sure, but like the refresh on her ultimate, because Jing Liu is all about keeping up her stacks. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
I
know.
think it's worth trying out.
I'll give it a shot, but I don't. Do you think
Yeah,
this is fine right here?
yeah, probably.
Okay. So then I think this is Fire Trailblazer and this is Physical. So where do you think Fire
I
Trailblazer?
think it's just the guy and the girl,
Yeah, well
but
for the sake of it, this one's Fire.
fire. I kind of forget that the fire and physical trailblazers exist. I don't know what that says about their power. They're both kind of irrelevant.
Okay,
Fire,
so
fire was fine though.
yeah,
I
the Fire is
before I
much stronger than Physical.
my problem with fire was that I had Clara at the time, and they don't work together well.
Yeah, they really don't. I I do think that Fire Trailblazer is better than Gepard for multiple
Yeah,
reasons.
I would probably agree with that.
So, and I also
That
think
that
they might
probably
be the
makes sense.
best
Yeah.
shielder. Don't quote me on that, but I think they might be.
Fushuan
Oh,
probably better.
Fushuan, yeah.
We both keep forgetting about
Well,
Fushuan.
but neither of
She's
us have her,
really
and I don't rent her out,
neither
so
of
it's
us
like,
have her.
uh.
Yeah, yeah.
So then Physical.
Probably C tier,
I love Physical
right?
because you beat them with a
We
bat, but they're not that
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, we just said that the fire's better than physical, and fire's
Yeah.
in B, so physical probably in C. Yeah, the it was really good very early game when everyone had physical debuff and you were learning the game and
Yeah.
you could kind of and I think it was a really good character design as like a tutorial character where it was like, look, here's how you can like balance between skill and non-skill attacks, whether or not you want to hit one person or multiple people, like just to get you into that mindset of how you should plan your fights.
hmm
But outside of that, it just wasn't that strong.
Yeah. And we started playing before the tutorial thing got implemented. So
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
this guy was the tutorial.
Yeah, he was the tutorial, and I think he did fine.
Yeah, he did good.
But he's also a tutorial, and you can't fight boss monsters with tutorial.
Not
So,
really, no. So then Welt,
well,
I think
have him.
high A or like low C, low S,
He's one of my 5 stars. I just haven't invested anything into
which
because
hurts my soul.
I don't have anything to do with him. I just don't have a team for him. Busy with other 5 star characters. I know he's decent, but I don't know. Actually, my biggest issue with Welt is he doesn't. He's kind of like Serval, where he just doesn't have a team for me. I don't know what team would be built around him.
I can see him being used in like Welt Ting Yun for the attack bonus, and then the refresh on his ult, and then Asta for speed. Because he's an imaginary, so he's gonna make everyone slower. And then if
Yeah,
you allow him to go more times, he's gonna get his ult more, which is gonna break everyone faster, which is gonna slow everyone down.
I don't think he outputs a lot of damage. I could be wrong about that.
It's
But like
but
that's
I
my
think
thing
he
where
does.
he's like he almost seems like he should be in the position of DPS because like you said he inflicts a lot of debuff and does a lot of like slowing down of the enemy.
hmm
But I feel like he needs a good DPS, like main DPS that sort of combos with him
Yeah,
well
but
before I care about him.
then if he doesn't have like, if he isn't the main DPS, he is very skill hungry.
Probably B or A. I don't know him well enough to put him anywhere specifically.
It's been a while, but I remember being
It's been a
very.
while.
It's been a
Uh,
while, but I remember being very happy with what he was able to do for me, as when I rented him out. I forgot this guy's name, and I have him, and I don't use him.
Yangqing.
Yangqing, there we go. Yangqing. He Path of the Hunt
Yeah.
and Cryo.
Probably A tier. I'd probably put him high A tier. Probably like right below Blade. Pinyin might be a little bit higher than him, but like yeah, thereabouts. He's really good. He's a good hunt character. I used him for a long time because he is good. And
Yeah,
he does the same sort of thing as well where like his debuffs are really good. He freezes a lot of
yeah.
people.
Freezing is so
Uh,
nice.
and his ults and follow-up attacks and everything are like when he's leveled up and invested into, he can output some serious damage into people. Early game, if you didn't pull Sela and you had a Yangqing, like
You were
you'd still be
golden.
pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd probably put him. Ooh, Actually, now that I think about it, then in that case, Sela is probably poorly placed where she is. Because I think Sela is probably better than Yangqing.
So you want to move her?
I'd
Like,
probably move her up, yeah. Probably above Blade.
I'm perfectly
Yeah.
fine with that. I think Seal is great.
Yangqing's still strong, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he is. I got him, and then it was like I think a
Mhm.
week away from Jingle U releasing, so it's like I'm not gonna build you ever. I'm gonna get this one.
Yeah, one of those unfortunate timing. I got him right around the time I also got Clara, because I pulled Clara off of Sela's banner, and I pulled Yongqing. I think he was my very first 5-star off the standard banner, and so they actually pair up pretty well because Yongqing is glass cannon.
So
All right,
then the one that we all forget that we
the
have
one we
forgotten
forget,
several times.
but I accept as being very good.
Oh, she's
Uh,
great,
I just
but
I don't yeah
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
really know.
know.
I don't run her out, so it's like
Hmm.
she's good. I don't know how good.
This might have to be our first like question mark because I have so little data on her outside of the fact that I know she's good. I just don't know, is she S tier, A tier, or B tier
Yeah, the
for us.
specifics. I've
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah. I'd have to put it there. Yep.
Mhm.
All right.
So I've been talking
Jingli.
her up. Blink.
S tier. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know if I'd put her above or below Kafka.
I don't think
That's
I would
tough.
put her above.
I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I'm still building her because she's too new.
Yeah,
So
same.
her artifacts are kind of meh, and she's still very strong.
She
Like
is.
that's the thing.
I think my thing is that she has stacks and she takes away HP from other units, which isn't a large amount. But Kafka just does what she does without needing any prerequisite at all. She's just gonna do it.
That's fair. Outside of the fact that I also have Blade, so like that actually becomes a benefit in that case.
Look
But
at me. I have 5 stars.
you can't keep being angry at me.
I'm not. It's you picked
I
what you want.
have no tickets.
I do.
I
Well,
also have no light cones. All right, so
that is true. I
there is
do
no
have
high horse for you to be complaining about.
I do have Jiggly's like cone and it helps so much.
Yeah, yeah,
It makes
that
the character
is.
so much more viable. And she already is without the light cone, so you don't even have to have it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't have the light cone, and she's nuts for me still. I think that's a good spot though for
Yeah,
Zestier.
I think she's really great. And
Yeah,
then support Yukon. She's
C tier
imaginary, it's
is
nice,
C
but
tier.
I don't know how.
Her buff is like only good for some characters, if I
Yeah,
remember right.
and you have to like
Which I yeah
micromanage her speed down to the single digit for it to work correctly,
yeah
which is a pain.
she's fine. If you have a team that wants her, she works well in her spot. She's
I
probably high C though.
high
I'd
C.
probably put her top C. Yeah
Top C, okay. See, when I knew that she was coming out and that she was imaginary, I was really hyped because I didn't have an imaginary, and there were a lot
yeah
of imaginaries around at the time. And then she was a support that doesn't do a lot of break or damage, so I was like, cool,
yeah.
not gonna
She's at
do
least a
that.
free character.
She is a free
You can
character.
get her for free character,
Yes.
which I think is helpful. Like you don't need to go out and try to get her. You get her, which
Mhm.
I
Which
think
is
is
nice.
always a bonus. Yeah, yeah.
And
All right.
new character that was in the event that I have no idea anything about.
Uh, is Guanfen?
Yeah,
Guanifin? I don't know. I
Gwynafin.
can't do the I can't do the Chinese pronunciations
Yeah,
ones.
I can't pronounce,
Yeah.
Gorilla 6, so.
Yeah. No, there's no hope for you. But
Thank you so much.
hold on. I got Game 8 up right now. Let me look. I don't even know what she is. She's Nihility,
She's in Hilda,
right?
yeah.
Uh, they've got her listed A overall, B for single target damage. She's probably okay, but like, yeah, we don't have enough information. Question mark.
So then
Luca,
Luca,
uh, A tier probably.
is this with
It's hard.
Kafka or just in general? Because like
I
with
was
Kafka, he's
with
great.
Koff. Yeah, that was my pause. There it was he like by himself doesn't feel like a very strong character, but with Kafka, he's very good.
Yeah,
But thinking about it, he actually has some good like break on him, and he's a skill positive character. Like
which is very
so,
nice.
yeah. The fact that he gives skill is in the skill hungry world we are in. I think A tier makes sense for him.
Yeah, I can see that. I haven't built mine to the point that I can use him in Kafka's team yet, but
Yeah,
that makes me happy.
yeah. He's not the highest damage dealer, which he shouldn't be. He's
Yeah.
Nihility. He's not Hunt. He does a lot of good debuffs. His bleed, his like weaken, whatever that his ult does. It's all good.
Yeah, that makes me excited. And then
Yeah, yeah,
Invivotor Lune,
yeah.
strongest
I
character.
Neither of us have him, but we know how
I
broken
rent
he
him
is.
out, and the first time I used him, I got the achievement for doing 500,000 damage in a single attack.
He's
He's stupid.
he is very strong for no
It's
reason.
absolutely insane. They're like, well, like Donghun's down here. What if you make him up here? It'd be pretty
Yeah,
funny.
right.
And he's the one 5-star that I pulled for and I didn't get, and I'm sad.
Links.
Lynx. Are we just gonna have a line of healers? Is that what's gonna
uh,
happen?
no, Lynx is probably the second strongest healer. Actually, I'd probably put Lynx on S, like right behind Luocha. Lynx and Luocha are definitely the two strongest healers.
I do really like Lynx. I
I like
think,
her a lot as well. She's slightly lower on the like healing
yeah,
capabilities, but the fact that she can max or like increase max health, and does cleansing debuff for everyone with her ult, and like she's good.
a lot more versatility with that one. Yeah. Right now, me and Myth are going to kind of break in the recording. We're gonna see if there's any final adjustments we need to make in this tier list, and then we're gonna come back with the finalized one and kind of give our overall thoughts. So be back.
Clap.
There we go. That's gonna
There
be
you
the
go.
cut into. Okay, so we were back. We changed a few things around. Any final thoughts, Myth?
Honkai has put out a lot of really great characters that are all both very strong and story wise I really enjoy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this would be a very different tier list if I were to do it based off like how much I like the character. That'd be a fun one to
Absolutely.
do actually.
That would be fun to
But
do. Maybe we'll do it
uh
again if
yeah,
people like this video.
who
Who
knows?
knows?
I'm pretty happy with the list though.
I think it turned out really, really well. It is always interesting when you start doing this and it's like, how many people are going to be in S tier? S tier? Is it going to be top heavy or bottom heavy? And ignoring these because we just don't know much about them. There's only two in D tier.
Yeah, that is true. I think they've done a very good job of avoiding bad characters,
Mm-hmm.
which like if everyone's S tier, then who cares, right?
Yeah,
It's always the weak characters that feel bad because it's like, well, if I really like Arlon or Herta as a character, it sucks that it they're so difficult to play, right?
and I think another thing that really matters with these characters is that a lot of the 5-star Lycones are like very character specific,
Yeah,
which is interesting, but
yeah.
a lot of people
That's
aren't gonna get
yeah,
the 5-star Lycone, so that matters a lot.
yeah. The investment for the light cone and the character are like much higher than one or the other.
Let me know
Uh,
back down in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'll blame Myth for everything that's incorrect. And please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll probably do another one in the future. It looks like we're getting more characters, and I might do research on the other 3 that are already out. Who knows? And I will see you all in the next one.